Yes, guys, welcome to Primetime Analysis. I am your host, Victor Onyango. Now, the president was in Mount Kenya and specifically in Kirinyaga County. He visited to open and commission Kerigoya Level 5 County Referral Hospital. And in this meeting, he got an opportunity to speak about one of the critical issues that Mount Kenya politicians have made to look like a serious issue in that area. And for the first time, the president got an opportunity to talk about the Mungiki emergence in that region. We know that Mungiki has been a problem for past regimes in many different occasions. Moi had to deal with it at some point. President Mwai Kibaki found it and dealt with it ruthlessly. President Uhuru Kenyatta came, but during Uhuru Kenyatta's regime, it seems their activities were hibernated, or they, in one way or the other, dissolved and either stopped being in existence. But right now it has become a serious political issue. This, as everyone knows, stems from the day the burial of Field Marshal Mukami Kimathi was planned. We know that in the eve of that burial, Maina Njenga, who was the group's former leader, his homes in all areas were raided. But one thing that caught the men in uniform out of surprise was that there was no Maina Njenga in all these houses that they raided. They were only surprised to see Raila Odinga with Maina Njenga at the burial. The main intention of this raid that was done was to make sure that he would not come and attend that event, because that was specifically a government event, and he did not want Raila Odinga or any other person to come with a little influence that would show that Central Kenya is disapproving of the current regime's governance. Now, for many times we know that William Ruto has left the issues of dealing with Central Kenya to Rigathi Gachagua. But today that he was in that region, he took time to talk about this challenge. Listen to this clip and hear what President had to say.
Viongozi wetu wa upinzani wanajaribu kutueleza ya kwamba wanataka atiwarudishe Mungiki, ati wakuje waanze mambo ya bangi, ati wakuje waanze kutoa wananchi ushuru isio halali, ati wakuje waangaishe kina mama wetu. Mimi nataka niwaambie wale viongozi wa upinzani, please, good people, kama mnafikiri hii Mungiki ni kitu ya maana sana, pelekeni watoto wenu kwa mambo ya Mungiki. Wachana na watoto wa taifa letu la Kenya.
Sentiments echoed by his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, who highlighted the suffering experienced by the Mount Kenya region in the past when Mungiki and other band groups terrorized the country.
Watu walikufa hapa Kirinyaga, wamama wakafanyiwa tabia mbaya siwezi taja mbele ya watoto, wasichana wetu wakanajisiwa, na hao watu wanatembea na hiyo mtu ati wanataka kuamsha hiyo watu. Mimi nataka niseme nikiwa hapa Kirinyaga, hiyo kikundi haramu hatuwezi kubalia irudi tena.
Mungiki had been known of the activities that were listed and discussed by President there. But since 2007, the activities and presence has been out of existence. And in fact, there has never been an attack that you have attributed directly to Mungiki. And therefore, it is questionable why, one wonders why the president is so worried and so bitter about the purported leader, about the supposed resurgence of this group. Yes, we know that if a proscribed group gets back into existence, then that is a criminality. But as until now, is there any criminal activity that has been attributed to any group called Mungiki? The only thing we can say is that there is a group of boys and young men that were ferried to Northland's farm related or associated with the former president's family, Kenyatta. Those youths went and did things that they did there, and the government has not talked about anything that they did. When asked recently in a press conference, when he was giving his updates of status and progress 6 months into office, Kindiki stated that they will be presenting culprits to our courts. Up to now, none of such thing has happened, which means these were state-sanctioned activities. When they are state-sanctioned activities, they used youths, who some also believed were Mungiki, to conduct activities that they thought were good to them, when they were attacking a person they believed was of a different political persuasion. Now, if you hear William Ruto talking about Mungiki right now, you must be worried and ask yourself one question. Why is the president bitter? In this analysis, I want us to look at the key reasons why William Ruto is scared of Maina Njenga and the Mungiki resurgence. Before we do that, kindly take a minute or two to subscribe to this channel. And please, for those who have subscribed, we thank you for your support, and let's keep joining together. Now, the first reason why I think William Ruto is seriously bitter with this group is that 2022 elections was a youth-based election. And in this election, William Ruto depended heavily on Mount Kenya youths. These youths were the ones who were filling up his political rally places. These were the youths that were supporting and ferrying his merchandise all over in central Kenya. These were the youths that would turn violent in any case an Azimio politician could come into that region. And these people were sold to this UDA government. And now, the government is seeing that the pace at which it is implementing its agenda cannot resonate with the speed at which these youths want to see change in their lives. And therefore, the best thing to do to manage this situation is to suppress them. They have been suppressed. And one of the tools that William Ruto used to suppress any form of opposition is the manner in which they described any demonstration by dissenting voices. You remember that opposition politicians have been warned at all times, and in fact, even Kindiki warned them again yesterday, that they are not allowed to go and demonstrate if they do not agree with the outcome of the finance bill that is supposed to be voted for in the parliament. Now, that level of suppression was to scare everyone else who would think that they can go and oppose this government. Now, here we are. The implementation of the promises is down. The cost of life is high. Everything is not as it was planned. What is the best way to deal with this situation? When Kenyans were seeing that everything is not working well, youths joined together. And that is why you saw that when Maina Njenga was arraigned at DCI headquarters, youths from Mount Kenya came and they sang their songs in their languages. And this is what Mutahi Ngunyi said about it on that day when they were singing. And he wrote, "Dear Ruto, Kikuyus out of power are a threat to national security. Arrest this Mungiki uprising. My mother sang those Mau Mau songs to me as a boy. When they sing them, they sound like one voice. They revive a collective consciousness you cannot control. Stop it fast." That was an advice from Mutahi Ngunyi to William Ruto. And surely it seems he is out to implement this advice. Because if you look at the court order conditions that the court in Nakuru gave to Maina Njenga, he was given bond, but not allowed to speak about anything Mungiki, not allowed to hold any meeting, not allowed to associate with any group, and it's like he's just someone who is under house arrest. So if you look at the terms of that bill, they were very strict. And that is why since that bill was given, you've never seen Maina Njenga anywhere. You've never seen him anywhere. And you'd wonder, where did Maina Njenga go? That is what is happening. So William Ruto is afraid of the thing that Maina Njenga is doing in Mount Kenya. And this is it. Maina Njenga is awakening the consciousness of youths in Mount Kenya back to their roots, where their parents came from, where their forefathers came from, what were the intentions of their forefathers in the fight against Mau Mau. That will bring the freedom thought in their mind. And when they realize that this thing that they were fed by UDA team is not palatable and it's not workable, they will switch their mind and turn to be a strong opposition against this government. That is why William Ruto does not want anything to do with Mungiki. Mungiki is a serious threat to his political strategy. You know that everything that William Ruto does is that he abhors opposition. Any voice that is dissenting must be silenced and kept underground. So this is something that William Ruto is afraid of. If Maina Njenga manages to remove the bottom-up software that William Ruto had installed in Mount Kenya youths and installs a new one, that will change his political game plan for that region. And therefore, it is a threat to both Rigathi Gachagua, who wants to be the supreme leader of the region, and to President William Ruto, who depends, or whose success in this government depends on silence of Mount Kenya region. Another thing, you realize that they have linked every activity of Mungiki to President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has been a scapegoat for this government for far too long. And I think it is time this government thought about a new strategy that they can use to sell their agenda. People who are the mouthpiece, the chief and the loudest mouthpiece is Kimani Ichung'wah, followed by Moses Kuria, followed by Ndindi Nyoro, and the rest. They have been castigating President Uhuru Kenyatta about support, first of all, of the demonstrations. When the demonstrations went down, it is now against about Mungiki. So you realize that they are using a lot of scapegoating tactics when handling this region. So their fear that Mount Kenya will be independent in one way or the other, and they can have an alternative voice in that region, that makes William Ruto want to run away. And this is why you realize that he does not want anything to do with Mungiki or to do with Maina Njenga, who can, because Maina Njenga has a way of getting into the minds of those people. I don't know how he does, but some things it is only God who gives you strength about it. There are people you can never tell how they do things. And they have a way, you will start to kill them, you cannot kill them. You will start to move them here and there, nothing will happen. But when they go to the people directly and speak to them in their language they understand, they get into their hearts. And this is what Maina Njenga has been doing. The third thing about this Maina Njenga thing and the Mungiki, William Ruto has not delivered anything for Mount Kenya people. They are crying about their coffee prices. They are crying about their milk prices. They are crying of the drop of prices of macadamia. They are crying about their tea prices. The main cash crops that were sold in this region have suffered greatly during this regime, in the first days of this regime. And therefore, if they do not have any means of solving this crisis, alternative voices might wake up their consciousness, and this might bring serious problems to this government. You know, Kikuis were big investors in this government, as Rigathi Gachagua would put it. But when you look at the nature of appointments that they are getting, it is not commensurate to the force they put in that work. If you look at the prominence they are given in this government, critical positions, William Ruto has planned and schemed to put right people that he knows will stand and will hear what he tells them. You know that Rigathi Gachagua, he chose weak leaders. Rigathi Gachagua, Kimani Ichung'wah, Ndindi Nyoro, they can never fight for the community. All they want is their own personal riches. And therefore, if you look at that line, you'll notice that William Ruto does not want anybody who can interfere with his ultimate political plan. Then the final one is that this Mungiki team, if by any means the so-called Mungiki team, but I'll call about Maina Njenga, with the kind of way he has and control Maina Njenga has on Mount Kenya youths, if he joins hands fully and strongly with Azimio and they call for demonstrations, that will be something that is very serious, because when they go for that demonstrations, it will now not be called a Luo affair. And when police from a government they voted goes to start killing their own children, it will turn to be a different ballgame. William Ruto does not want to have a confrontation with this community, and that is why the safest thing to do for them is to ensure that there is no opportunity for Maina Njenga to have his head up, and there is no opportunity for Maina Njenga and his team, or even the youths that support him, to group and join hands with the opposition. These are some of the reasons why William Ruto does not want that group to rise up. If you have not subscribed, please take 1 minute or two to subscribe, like this video, and please share. Thank you. For those who have joined us, we appreciate you, and we say God bless you. Let's meet in our next video. Thank you.